What's the most annoying thing that ever happened to you? The loud phone talker. For as long as I'd been taking the 7:40 a.m. bus to work, those 20 minutes had been my sanctuary. It wasn't much. A half-empty bus, a travel mug of coffee, earbuds humming some quiet music while I scrolled through an ebook. It was the calm before the storm of office chaos. The bus wasn't silent, of course. The occasional cough, the rustle of newspapers, the hum of the engine. But it was a respectful quiet, the kind of unspoken agreement commuters shared. We were all tired. We were all just trying to get through the morning without fuss. And then she arrived. The first time she boarded, I didn't think much of it. A woman in her late 30s, loud makeup, louder jewelry, and a phone already pressed to her ear. She dropped into the seat across from me, tossed her purse down, and without hesitation, bellowed into her phone. I said, if he doesn't want to pay child support, he can rot for all I care. Heads turned. People shifted uncomfortably. I turned up my earbuds. But there wasn't an earbud in the world strong enough to drown her out. Every detail of her personal life spilled into the bus like a radio nobody wanted to hear. Her sister's affairs, her mother's drama, her boyfriend's failures. Nothing was spared. And she had the kind of voice that sliced through any background noise, shrill and piercing. That first day, I told myself it was a one-off. Maybe she was having a bad morning. The second day, she was back. Louder. This time she was screaming about work. And I told my boss, you don't pay me enough to stay late. The third day, it was boyfriends again. By the end of the week, I knew this wasn't temporary. She had made the 7:40 bus her personal stage. At first, the other passengers tried subtle protests. People coughed. A man across the aisle muttered, "Some of us are trying to relax." A woman 2 rows back said, "Can you please keep it down?" Every time she rolled her eyes and snapped back. It's a free country. Don't like it? Don't listen. Mind your business. And then she'd go right back to yelling into her phone, even louder, just to prove her point. The driver never said a word. He had enough to deal with, I suppose. And nobody wanted to escalate things. Commuters aren't fighters. We're just tired people trying to survive another day. So we all suffered. Day after day, morning after morning, our peace was stolen by her endless sagas. Some days she laughed so obnoxiously I could feel my skin crawl. Other days she shouted until her voice cracked. And when she wasn't ranting, she blasted voice notes on speaker. I started dreading the bus. It wasn't just me. I saw it on everyone's faces, the way shoulders sagged when she boarded, the collective sigh, the silent prayers that maybe, just maybe, she'd skipped the bus today. But she never skipped. And the worst part? She always got off 3 stops before mine. Which meant just when she finally shut up, I still had 5 minutes left on the bus, with nothing but the aftertaste of her chaos lingering in the air. I decided enough was enough. I've always been the quiet type. I don't like confrontations, but I do like solutions. At first, I thought about just blasting my own music to drown her out. But why should I punish myself when she was the problem? I thought about recording her and posting it online, but that wouldn't stop her, not unless she went viral. And even then, she'd probably just get louder for the attention. I needed something smarter, something subtle, something that would make her think twice every time she pulled out her phone. And then, one morning, as she launched into yet another phone tirade, inspiration struck. She was talking about money, something about her landlord and late rent. She spoke names. She spoke numbers. She spoke addresses. She didn't seem to care who heard her business. That's when I realized her greatest weakness. She had no filter. None. And people with no filter, they're very easy to manipulate. The next Monday, I came prepared. I boarded the bus as usual, sat in my regular seat and waited. Sure enough, 3 stops later, she clomped aboard, phone already pressed to her ear. "Yeah, I'm on the bus. No, he didn't call me back. Ugh, men!" I sipped my coffee and tried not to smile. Because this time, I wasn't just listening. I was writing things down. Every name, every place, every detail she shouted into her phone, I jotted discreetly into a little notebook. She didn't notice. Of course she didn't. She was too busy telling the entire bus about her sister's cheating husband. For the rest of that week, I gathered data. Like a detective, except my suspect was too arrogant to shut up. By Friday, I had a goldmine. Names of family, boyfriends, workplaces, landlords. Even a few bank-related tidbits she shouted at some poor customer service rep. Now I had material. All I needed was the right way to use it. The following Monday, I put phase 2 into action. When she boarded and started her usual routine, I waited for the right moment. Then, just loud enough for the people around me to hear, I pulled out my own phone and pretended to have a conversation. Yes, I know. She said her landlord is threatening eviction, right? Yeah, she hasn't paid in months. No, don't worry. Everyone on this bus already knows. A few passengers snorted. Someone 2 rows back actually laughed. Her head snapped toward me. Excuse me? Are you talking about me? I looked at her innocently. Oh, sorry. Was I being loud? I thought this was just how people do phone calls on the bus. The bus chuckled again. Her face turned red. She shut up for the rest of the ride. Of course, she wasn't done. The very next day, she was back at it, louder than ever, determined to reclaim her stage. But now the passengers weren't just annoyed. They were watching, waiting for me. So I did it again. When she ranted about her sister, I answered my fake phone call. Yes, her sister again. Yeah, the cheating one. Oh, everyone on the bus knows by now. It's practically a soap opera. The bus roared with laughter. She slammed her phone shut and hissed, "Mind your damn business." I shrugged. Hey, you made it our business. Now it wasn't just me versus her. It was the whole bus. People started coughing soap opera whenever she raised her voice. One guy even said, "What's today's episode?" She tried to fight it, but she couldn't. Every time she opened her mouth, the bus was ready. By Friday, she was seething. She boarded the bus, phone in hand, but hesitated. For the first time, she looked nervous. She sat down. She unlocked her phone. She stared at it. And then she put it back in her bag. Silence. The bus was quiet. Gloriously, beautifully quiet. When my stop came, I stood up, stretched, and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Wow, peace and quiet on the 740. Guess miracles do happen." The bus chuckled. She glared at me, but she said nothing. From that day on, she never made a phone call on the bus again. She'd glare at me sometimes, sure, but she stayed silent. And every morning, as I sipped my coffee in peace, I knew I'd won. Revenge doesn't always come in grand gestures. Sometimes it's as simple as reclaiming the peace someone tried to steal from you. She thought she owned the bus. She thought her problems were more important than everyone else's sanity. But in the end, all it took was turning her own noise against her. And now, when the bus hums softly and everyone rides in peace, I smile to myself. Because silence, after all, is the sweetest revenge. Like and subscribe. Share if this ever happened to you or to someone you know.